ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्र्यम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Hari Om. Salutations to all. So today we explore the glory of Bhagwan Kedarnathji. So Mahadriparshve च तटे रमन्तं सम्पूज्यमानं सततं मुनीन्द्रैः सुरासुरैर्यक्षमहोरगाद्यैः केदारमीशं शिवमेकमीडे. So it said here, I worship the Lord who is Kedarnath, who is Shiva. I praise him, I worship him. Where is he? Mahadri Parshve, in the Himalayas, at the base of the range of mountains. That whole khanda is called Kedar, Rudra Himalaya, sorry. That entire region is called Rudra Himalaya. In that, at the base of this Kedar Shringa, the peak called Kedar, the Lord who is there, so is Mahadri Parshve, Cha Tate Ramantam, and who is uh, Mahadri Parshve Cha Tate. Tate is at the base of this Kedar Shringa. And Sampurjamanam Sadatam Munindrahi, the great rishis, etc. Who else? Devatas, Asuras, Yakshas, even great snakes, all of them, Munis, all of them worship the Supreme Lord, Kedarnath. So this area where Bhagwan has manifested is called Rudra Himalaya, and some people call that also as the Sumeru peak. So Rudra Himalaya, Vishnupuri, Brahmapuri, Udgarikanta and Swargarohan are all in that particular area. Even Gandhamadan Parvat is in that area. That whole khanda, big area, is called Rudra Himalaya. And so what is the one of the reasons why Bhagwan has manifested there is Bhagwan Vishnu's avatar are Nar and Narayan. And Nar and Narayan rishis, they meditate. Even today, people say that Nar and Narayan rishis are in Badrinath. So they have meditated, they continue to meditate, and they invoke Bhagwan Shiva. For a long time, they did tapasya, stood on one foot, did fasting, chanted the Namah Shivaya mantra, and they have done the worship of Bhagwan Shiva. And Bhagwan Shiva then manifests and asks them, what do they seek? And both of them, they want nothing for themselves. They are worshipping Bhagwan for the love of the Lord, and they want Bhagwan to be there, manifest, give darshan to the devotees, remove their sorrows, grant them mukti, bless them with ananya bhakti. So they ask Bhagwan for all those boons, and Bhagwan agrees to be there in the form of Kedarnath. And so that is one legend, and that is mentioned in Shiva Puran only in this Koti Rudra Samhita, chapter 19. So this Koti Rudra Samhita, if you see, has the description of all the 12 Jyotirlingas, the story behind it, the significance of it, what is the result of worship, all that is given here. So in this, Bhagwan Nar and Narayan, they are the two incarnations of Bhagwan Vishnu. Now, um, यदि प्रसन्नो देवेश यदि देयो वरस्त्वया स्थीयताम स्वेन रूपेण पूजार्थम shankara swayam. That's the boon that they have asked, that if you are pleased with us, then you please remain here in your original form, means in your uh, rupa as as Shankara, pujartham shankara swayam. So please be here. And when both of them asked this, then Bhagwan established himself with Yuktastu Tadatabhyam Kedare Hima Samshraye Swayam cha Shankarastasthau Jyoti Rupo Maheshwaraha. So in the form of a Jyotirlinga, he remained there. So we have seen so far most of the lingas are where some tapasya has happened, Bhagwan has appeared, and then the devotee has said, you please remain here for everyone to benefit. Um, so the result of this is all types of dangers, pains are removed, and Bhagwan fulfills the desires of those who have audience with the linga or worship it. Bhakta Abhishta Prado Nityam Darshanadapi. Now, this is one aspect. The learning out of this also is Bhagwan Vishnu's Ishta is Shivji, and Bhagwan takes the form of Nar and Narayan and meditates on Shivji, gets the darshan, and wants nothing. Bhagwan is Paripurna, fulfilled. What does Bhagwan want? For the benefit of people, he they worship and then they invoke Bhagwan and tell the Lord that you please remain here for everyone. So you will see that one quality which is there in all the devotees, that when they worship Bhagwan, they seek boons as per whatever their desire is, but they don't want only for themselves. At least in Jyotirling stories, we are seeing that they want Bhagwan to be there, because after a lot of tapasya, the manifestation of Bhagwan happens. It requires a lot of pure mind to have darshan of Bhagwan, and then they request Bhagwan to remain there for Loka Kalyan. So the devotee's mind is like that. The devotee's mind is selfless. The devotee's mind thinks for the totality. The devotee's mind does not think only for I, me, and mine. I did tapasya, I got the boon, I am greatest, I am supreme. If you see the asuras, they will do tapasya, they will get some boon which most of the time is for immortality. And obviously, body wise, one can't be immortal. So they will create some kind of a so called very difficult boon so that they can't be killed. And that's about it. It is about I, me, and mine. It's not about world, and even the boons that they ask are finally to become more powerful, and then they create atrocities in the three worlds. So the mindset is very important to understand. What is a devotee's mindset? Bhagwan, when one chants the mantra, the power of the mantra is such, the tapasya, the concentrated mind which is there, Bhagwan will manifest. But what will be the intent and what is that wish that the devotee has? That depends on the purity of the mind. And so if the mind is pure, and that's why bhakti is very important. Bhakti purifies the mind. Devotion helps us to surrender the ego. And when we surrender the ego, we see oneness. We see there is Bhagwan alone appearing as the whole Srishti. And for the bhakta, serving the bhaktas of Bhagwan is very natural because Bhagwan loves that. And one will do what the beloved loves. Bhagwan is more pleased when the devotees of the Lord are served and taken care of than sometimes even the worship of Bhagwan. Especially those devotees who are going through difficult times. All types of devotees one can serve. But where one has difficulties, where one is suffering, one is needy, person goes and serves. Serves those bhaktas who are Ananya bhaktas of Bhagwan, who are already one with the Lord. Such devotees also one goes and serves. Because many times they are in their own, they are absorbed in the Lord, they don't bother about the body, they don't take care of the things around them, absorbed in the higher state of consciousness. So then go and serve them, take care of them. So like that, bhaktas are those whose minds are free from selfishness. So if I am a devotee, how much is my selflessness? Because that is a measure of purity and uh, the impact of bhakti. And discovering oneness with Bhagavan will happen only then when there is selflessness in the buddhi. Otherwise, one will have. There is nothing wrong in asking anything, material from Bhagavan. One should not have a false ego saying, "I don't ask anything from the Lord," which is materialistic. But then I am having those desires and I am running behind in the world, behind some people to fulfill my desires and all that. Whatever is in the heart, one asks, but one should develop that. How will one develop that? When one loves the Lord for its Bhagwan only. When we love someone for their sake, we admire them, we adore them, we revere them, then we want nothing. The joy of loving them is the greatest joy. That is the beautiful aspect of Nara and Rishi worshipping Bhagwan, want nothing for themselves because the joy of worshipping Bhagwan, chanting his name, remembering him, that itself is fulfillment. Gurudev always used to say, love is a fulfillment unto itself. A mother loves the child. That joy of this is my child and loving the child is good, fulfilling to her. Same way, someone loves the country. So when one finds that joy in the very process, anything else is extra bonus. So one doesn't feel, I want this also, I want that also, because the heart is full. Again, I'm saying, if one has a desire, one wants to ask, there's nothing wrong about it, inferior about it. We have seen earlier devotees have asked. So this is one legend. And now when Bhagavan has manifested there, um, the Skanda Puran Kedar Khand says that one who wants the maximum benefit of the darshan of Bhagavan, Badrinathji, one should do the darshan of Kedarnathji and then go there. Why? Because Bhagavan himself took the form of Nara Narayan. Badrinathji, who is Vishnu Bhagavan, he took the form of Nara Narayan and invoked Kedarnathji first. So it says, Tathaiva darshanam vaishya kedarasya ghanashinaha yogached badarim tasya yatra nishfalatam brajet. So, once one has the darshan of Kedareshwar Bhagavan, then one goes to Badrinath, has the darshan of Bhagavan there, Nar Narayan Rishi are there even now. Then all the sins are destroyed and one even attains Jivan Mukti. Uh, Otherwise, the yatra becomes incomplete, doesn't give the full fruit. तथैव रूपं दृष्ट्वा च सर्वपापै प्रमुच्यते जीवन्मुक्तो भवेत् सोऽपि यो गतो बदरीवने दृष्ट्वा रूपं नरस्यैव तथा नारायणस्य च केदारेश्वर शम्भोश्च मुक्तिभागी न संशयः. So the sequence generally is Shiva. This what I chanted now, this is from Shiva Puran, quoted Rudra Samhita, uh, chapter 19, 20th and 21st verse. Then what earlier was from this Kedar Khand of Skanda Puran. So both these they mentioned the glory of Kedarnathji. That whole Khanda, especially Kedarnathji, the mandir where it is there, that is a very important place. It is said that Arjun obtained Pashupatastra in that region, not in that exact place, but in that region. Then Draupadi wanted the Saugandhika flower. So she told Bhim to get that special flower, and then Bhim went into the forest and faced a lot of difficulties and demons and wild animals and all of them, and destroyed one, fought with one demoness called Krodhavasha, etc., and finally got the Saugandhika flower for Draupadi. That also is supposed to have happened in that area. And the Pandavas left for their final Swargarohan also from Kedarnathji, then went to Badrinath, and that Swargarohan trek is there. Why? We will come to Pandavas in this. What is the legend of Pandavas associated with Kedarnathji? Uh, so Nara, Nara and Rishi, how are they born? They are born to Dharma and Murti Devi. And they are born to establish the ideal of tapasya and to show to the world what is tapasya, how does one do tapasya, etc. And that's why in that Badri Khanda, they worship Bhagwan for the pure love of Bhagwan. So that we saw. And they would also create this Parthiva Linga, do the puja, do the archana, worship the Lord through Om Namah Shivaya in the Vedic way, etc. And that's how they pleased Bhagwan. So this is one legend associated. Uh, then the second legend which is associated is this Mahabharat. Again, this is in Shiv Puran. So when the Mahabharat Yuddha got over, the Pandavas, they feel that, we killed our own family members. Though it is, they did not do it for selfish purpose, they did it to protect Dharma, and Krishna Bhagwan himself has inspired Arjun to fight the war with the right vision. So they know that it's not that they did it for land and for kingdom, and then they uh, feel that, how could we kill our people just for kingdom? It is not that way. It has been done to protect righteousness. There was no other solution. All the means of peace and, the uh, resolution of conflict between both these parties, etc., they have been tried, but nothing has worked. So in that context, the war has been fought, which was inevitable. It was actually that Pandavas are defending, Kauravas are the aggressors. Bhishma blows the conch. That's a sign of being an aggressor. Yet, all that has happened, war has happened, so many people have been killed, a lot of family members have died, almost 40 lakh people have died, human beings, apart from in that male, apart from the other animals and the horses and the elephants and all that. So many jivas got killed in this. So Pandavas feel, so they rule, Yudhishthira rules for some time and they do the Ashwamedha Yajnas also, and then they bring prosperity into the kingdom, all that they do. But somewhere there is a glani, there is a grief there is sorrow that we killed our family members. And so um, how do they get out of this feeling? They feel that we have committed something which is unpleasant, which is a sin. And so what is that which is to be done? So they go to Maharshi Vedavyasa, and Vedavyasji tells them that you have to worship Bhagwan Shiva. He is the one who will remove this for you, and he is the most Kalyankari, and he is the destroyer. So you worship Bhagwan Shiva, and through his grace, you will be freed from this. And you have to go to Kedar Kshetra, and there Kedarnathji is there in this form. So Bhagwan is already manifested and is there as a uh, linga, and so they say you go there and worship the Lord. Now, uh, Mandakini's Udgam Sthan is Kedarnath. Bhagwan is there. Nar Narayan Rishi have done tapasya. So Bhagwan has manifested there. So then what happens? They go there. They start doing the tapasya of Bhagwan um, with Veda mantras, etc. They start worshipping. But before they reach there, what do? First, they go to Kashi. When they go to Kashi, now they want to have darshan of Bhagwan Vishwanath. Bhagwan leaves Kashi. In the sense, Bhagwan, the Kashi Kshetra is called Avimukteshwara. Kashi name is also Avimukteshwara because Bhagwan will never leave that city in that sense. But he is doing his Leela. So he doesn't give them darshan. That's the point. At Kashi, he doesn't give them darshan. And so uh, they come to Kedarkhand. When they come to Kedarkhand, Bhagwan from Kedarnath comes to Gupta Kashi. So that's why they say that that linga which Nar Narayan Rishi etc. worship and Bhagwan remain there in that particular form. For some time Bhagwan came down to Gupta Kashi. He said, I don't want. So basically he was not giving them darshan. And they are seeking him. We want to have your darshan, we have to get out of this glani that we have, the grief that we have. So from Kashi, he doesn't give them darshan. Then they come to Kedarnath. There, when they try to come, he has gone to Gupta Kashi. So he disappears, goes to Gupta Kashi, and in Gupta Kashi, he takes a particular form of a buffalo, and he is moving around. And Pandavas, they recognize that this one particular buffalo amongst all of them is a very different type of buffalo, and the moment they spot this buffalo runs. So from Gupta Kashi again towards Kedarkhand. And Pandavas chase, catch. At that time, Bhagwan digs into the earth, goes inside, doesn't want to give them darshan also, even as a buffalo. But they catch hold of the tail and the hind portion remains, and Bhagwan then is in that place. That's where the temple today is, which is the Kedarnathji's linga. So Bhim has caught the tail, and all of them they sing the stuti of Bhagwan, and Bhagwan then is pleased with them finally. Now, why did Bhagwan do this lila? It is not that Bhagwan is upset with them that why did they kill so many people and I don't want to have your darshan, I don't want to give you darshan. Bhagwan only inspired them to fight the war. So it is not that Bhagwan is upset with them. Sometimes Bhagwan does Leela with Bhaktas. He may have, he may just want the Bhaktas to uh, have more yearning for him. That is one possibility. Bhagwan's Leela, Bhagwan only knows why Bhagwan did. Reasons are not mentioned. Now we can sit and extrapolate certain things. But here in the scripture doesn't give any other reason. Maybe Bhagwan also wants to test how deep is their desire to worship me and to get rid of this guilt what they have. It could be anything. So when Bhagwan they do the stuti of Bhagwan and he tells them that what stuti you have done, worship you have done, and from with that I am very pleased, and I will alleviate you from the sin of Gotra Vadha. You have killed people of your own Gotra, and so from that Mahapapa I will free you from it, and may your desires be fulfilled. So in Shiv Puran, again, these are the verses which come here. Beautiful verses from Kote Rudra Samhita, 19th chapter. Yo vai hi pandavan drishtva mahisham rupamaस्थितः maya masthaya tatraiva palayana paro bhavat. So he took up the form of Mahisha, buffalo, and then he tried to run. He didn't want to see them. Dhritascha pandavaistatra यवांग मुखतया स्थितः पुच्छं चैव धृतं तैस्तु प्रार्थितश्च पुनः पुनः. Then he was held by the Pandavas and they worshipped him again and again. तद्रूपेण स्थितस्तत्र भक्तवत्सलनामभाक् नयपाले शिरोभागो गतस्तद्रूपतः स्थितः. So Bhagwan is there, Bhaktavatsala, in this form, and he is there to bless the devotees. तथैव जनान्नित्यम् आज्ञां चैवाप्यदात् तथा पूजितश्च स्वयं शंभुः तत्र तस्थौ वरानदात्. So Bhagwan remained there, blessed them and agreed to bless everyone. पूजयित्वा गतोस्ते तु पांडवा मुदितास्तदा लब्ध्वा चित्तेप्सितं सर्वं विमुक्ता सर्वदुःखतः. So they got freed from all their sorrows and they had worshipped Bhagwan. They were very happy. So the person who, so few things to understand from here are even that guilt which is there of the uh, Gotra Vadha, killing the people of their own Gotra, their own lineage. Worship of Bhagwan frees them from it, and one has to drop the guilt finally. Purifying the mind with the remembrance of the Lord, dropping the doership, knowing very clearly that it was Bhagwan's will, there was no selfishness, selfish intent here. So, in grief and regret and guilt in any form will only hold us back, and it is one way in which the ego also strengthens itself. Just like with praise, appreciation, sometimes the ego gets into superiority. With this, one will get into a feeling of uh, low self-worth. So when we invoke Bhagwan, we surrender the ego. So high superiority also gone, inferiority also gone. And though the task was unpleasant, it had to be done as a duty. Sometimes a mother has to scold a child. She loves the child, but she has to do unpleasant things, scold the child. Sometimes the child is sick, they give the bitter medicine to the child. Sometimes the child doesn't listen, may even have to punish the child for in some ways. So the Jiva goes through many things. Ishvara knows what is the best. And sometimes the unpleasant things also Ishvara gets done through the Jivas. So where one doesn't take it, as a personal thing, it is done for the cause of dharma. So worshipping Bhagwan Shiva, going to these various tirthasthans. Now see this Leela that Bhagwan did. So Kashi they went, wanted darshan of Bhagwan there. From there they come to Kedar Khanda, want to have darshan of Bhagwan there, but Bhagwan comes to Gupta Kashi. That's why it is Gupta Kashi. So a new tirtha also got created, Gupta Kashi. So Leela of Bhagwan has many facets. It is not that Bhagwan did not like them to then because why did they kill their own family members? So Bhagwan hates them. That kind of a narrative is set out by people. If you read many of these books also, uh, because they add their thought process into it. The scripture is not saying that ki Bhagwan was upset with them because they killed their family members. No. So guilt, regret, one has to surrender. One has to learn the lessons. Of course, if one has done something wrong, so that one doesn't repeat it. But one has to drop, and worship of Bhagwan purifies the mind. If I have done anything wrong, I worship Bhagwan with that bhav that I am here, I am sorry, I repent for it. Bhagwan, I offer this, please take it away. Then this has to be the result. Pandava muditas tada. Then we have to become happy that this is gone. I am freed from it. I've learned my lesson. No more committing any mistakes and continue on the path of dharma. So Kedarnathji, so when Bhagwan went into the uh, ground, so Pancha Kedar is worshipped in the whole area. So here in Shiva Puran, it comes that Tadrupena Sthitas Tatra Bhaktavatsala Namabhag Nayapale Shirobhaga. So Nayapala is Nepal. So the head comes out in Nepal, and that is what is worshipped as Pashupatinath. Shirobhagas Gatas Tadrupata Sthitaha. And the hind portion is in the Kedarnath. So there are Pancha Kedar in that area. So Kedarnath is the hind part, Tunganath are the arms, Rudranath. So here it is said Rudranath is the face, and Shiva Puran says it is Pashupatinath is the face. Either of them one can take. One will be from one Puran, Skanda Puran, one will be from Shiva Puran. Then Madmaheshwar is the Nabhi and Kalpeshwar is the Jata. So these are called Pancha Kedar. And then there is another Kedar called Budha Kedar. First, Bhagwan was seen in the form of a huge bull in this place. So Bhagwan went to Gupta Kashi. So they followed Bhagwan there. But when he took the form of a bull, they were not able to find in Gupta Kashi. Then they are searching, and in Budha Kedar they find him. So that way this is beautifully given. In the Skanda Puran, there's another thing. With that, we will conclude for today. In the Skanda Puran, describing the glory of Kedar Khanda, Bhagwan Shiva himself tells Mother Parvati that this Kedar Kshetra is most dear to me, and that's why I don't ever leave this Kedar Kshetra. And he says that when he did the Srishti Rachna, for that he took the form of Brahma. Then from that time, he says, I live in this area, and at the gate of this Kedar Kshetra, Nandi, Bhringi, etc., they are the Dwarpals. And whoever has even a thought of doing Yatra to Kedarnath, 300 generations of that person, they attain Shiva Loka. Then whoever worships, only a thought will help. Then whoever worships Bhagwan through the mind, body, speech, through actions dedicated to Bhagwan and has darshan of Bhagwan Kedarnathji, that person's even the worst sins like Brahmahatya will get destroyed just by the darshan, and many devatas, their blessings come to them. So Bhagavan Vishnu and Indra and so many of them, they are worshipping Bhagavan Kedarnathji there. Then he says, just like amongst the gods, Vishnu Bhagavan is the foremost. Amongst the various water bodies, ocean is the best. Amongst the rivers, it is Ganga. Amongst the uh, Puris, it is Kailas. In that way, amongst the kshetras, Kedar kshetra is the most sacred. So all this is there in Kedar Khand in Skanda Puran. This is the glory of Kedarnathji. And the word Kedar also is a very nice word. So many uh, reasons are there for Kedar. One is the Kedar Shringa, then Kedar trees. But there is one more thing called, one more etymological meaning of Kedar. So there was this demon, this also comes in Swayambhu Manvantara. There was this demon called Hiranyaksha. And this is not that Hiranyaksha whom Bhagavan Vishnu killed. There is another demon called Hiranyaksha. And he again got certain boons and won over the Devatas, destroyed, I mean, defeated the Devatas and took up the kingdom. Devatas, Amaravati, etc. He took up and drove out Indra and all of them. And so they all came to Mahadev. They worshipped Bhagwan, they invoked his grace. And when Bhagwan was happy, he came and asked them, ask a boon. And when he asked that, uh, he knew that they have been tormented by some asura. So he asked them a question, Ke Darayami. Ke Darayami, meaning what? Whom should I drown? Whom should I destroy? So Kedar, that's the etymological meaning which is given here. So at that time when he asked, Kedarayami, I am very pleased with you. Tell me, uh, whom should I throw in the water and destroy? And Darayami means destroy. So he says here, Indra says that Hiranyaksha is a demon and this has happened with us. And he also is one who is destroying dharma, not allowing dharmic people to worship and do their spiritual practices. So please destroy him. Uh, and so when they have asked that boon, then Bhagavan Shiva goes, fights with him um, in the form of a buffalo he takes. Again Maheshru. And goes into the army, huge buffalo with all, very massive horns, sharp, pointed, and he goes and fights all of them, destroys them, and that's how this Hiranyaksha is killed. Uh, and Bhagwan blesses Indra. So this is one more story about Kedarnathji. So these are all various leelas Bhagwan does. So Nara Narayan Rishi selflessly they pleased Bhagwan, sattvic mind. Then Indra wants his power back, so that's a certain rajasic attitude, and Bhagwan blesses him. And the Pandavas going through a lot of this guilt, pain, sorrow that does not allow us to work to our full potential, that pulls us down, that is tamasic, rajasic, tamasic both combined. And so Bhagwan liberates them also. So that's the glory of Kedarnathji. And so we will worship Bhagwan um, through his regular form uh, and chant the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. We will have the picture of Kedarnathji if you want to uh, have that as a support, or if you want, you can invoke Bhagwan Shiva in his rupa as with the form, with the Gangaji and all that, the regular form also you can worship.